Let's do some warming up exercises. Yan, 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 yan. Yan, 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 yan. Yan, 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 yan. Yan, oh wee. Save the children! Save them children! Hello and welcome to the Redhead Boy podcast, hosted by me, Harry Allen. This is my own personal podcast, where I talk about anything that's on my mind, really. So, of course, that's including film, television, news about film and television, news about the creative industries, creativity, anything that I pretty much feel like it. So welcome to the Redheaded Boy podcast, and let's start this episode. Hello? Is anyone there? Hello and welcome to the Redheaded Boy podcast. It's episode 3, guys. Yes! We got there. It's the 31st. It's the end of the month. Yes, it's probably been, for most of us, a tough month of having to be stuck inside for lockdown because of this damn coronavirus. For God's sake, will it just fuck off? We've had enough of you, so go away. Hope everyone's well. Try not to be too bored. I'm trying not to be too bored. Yesterday I was bored as hell, so I'm going to be making the show as light-hearted as possible. So today I thought everybody, as I am, I thought we'd forget the news, because we all know what's going on, so we might as well forget it. So we're going to jump straight into the meat of the show, where I'm going to talk about what I've been watching recently. That's TV, films, and then I thought I would talk about my own creative stuff, like what I've been up to recently, what I've been doing, what I've been thinking about, what I'm hoping to do in the future, and just a little chatteroo, and and much more, hopefully. So you open your ears now for this episode 3 of the Redhead Boy podcast. It's movie review time, yeah, it's movie review time, yes. Hope everybody liked my little tune just there. Just made it up on the spot. If anybody wants me to make up any tunes for them, then feel free to drop me a message. So anyway, it's review time, and the first film I'm going to be reviewing is called Getting Go, the Go Doc Project. Too shy to make a proper introduction, a recent college grad devises to shoot a documentary about the New York nightlife scene in order to meet a go-go guy he's cyber obsessed with. So yes, if that hasn't grabbed you, then before I talk about it, let's listen to a clip.
I guess by now it's clear that I have a major problem. Oh, fuck. Dear Mr. Go, I've been researching a theoretical idea for a documentary on the New York City nightlife scene. I would really love to meet with you in my search for a subject/muse.
Jesus fucking Christ, just go talk to the fucker. Is that the camera that you're using?
Oh, my phone? No, this is just for prelim research.
Let me audition for you.
No, that's okay.
I'm not usually a stripper. I usually start with my clothes off.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Yes!
Welcome to the home of New York's finest boy on the box.
The great work begins. the shirt. Come on.
You're shirtless for a living. I'm shirtless for showering.
Fuck you. You wanted drama.
No, I wanted drama for the movie, not for my life.
Why do we have to be so serious?
Because this is serious. To me.
I wanna feel alive tonight. I don't want to take away the light. I'd rather be the one to go.
So that was the trailer for the Getting Go, the GoDoc project. So, it's interesting really, because I hadn't planned to watch this film. Well, not like, I hadn't queued it up on a list or anything. I had no clue it existed. So I walked into the lounge of my partner's flat and he was watching it. So I sat down and he told me about it. And at first, like I do sometimes, or the majority of the time, I don't seem interested. And then I started watching it for a little bit, and then I found myself deeply interested. So I think I probably missed about 10 minutes of the film. And, whoa, this is a real interesting documentary, guys. So it's about this guy called James, and he's a recent graduate, or is just about to graduate, and he's gay, and he becomes obsessed with this go-go dancer, which I will find the name of the go-go dancer. Say that, I'll tell you you can find out his name when you watch it. But so he gets obsessed with this go-go dancer that he finds online. So instead, because James is a typically awkward guy, he devises a plan to meet up with this guy and say that he's shooting a documentary about the New York nightlife, and he's interested in this go-go dancer auditioning as the main subject of the documentary. And that's where it all kicks off. So James begins to film this go-go dancer's life, which I think his name is... No, I think his name is... Ashley, the guy that's doing the documentaries, his name is... Tanner? Tanner. Tanner. And the go-go dancer guy is called Matthew. So this Matthew go-go dancer guy is this muscle guy. He's obviously hits the gym all the time, and he's moved to New York, and he's become a go-go dancer in a gay strip club, in a nightclub. And Tanner is obsessed with this guy. So he decides to make a documentary centered around Matthew, and he begins to film him over his life, like what he does at work as a go-go dancer and what he does at home. And we see it's definitely a unplanned run and gun documentary. Tanner begins the documentary, I believe, shooting it on his phone, and then he borrows his friend's camera to shoot the rest. And so he starts shooting the documentary and finds out more about this Matthew guy and what he does in his spare time. He ends up finding out that Matthew is actually quite a talented painter. And while he's filming this, he's still deeply obsessed with Matthew, just looking at him like he's as he has a deep crush on Matthew, let's say. Actually, not let's scratch that. Let's say he has a deep crush on Matthew, like tremendously, to the point that in the documentary we see him masturbating over pictures of Matthew, which I was shocked about at first. I ended up getting quite shocked about general what is shown in this film. It's a little bit graphic, so I wouldn't sit down with your kids and watch this. I think it's probably clear on the title and the synopsis of the film that you probably shouldn't sit down and watch this with your kids or anybody that's under the age of 18, because you see nudity, you see masturbation, you even see gay sex, which I was really surprised about that. I said to my partner, I was like, no, they're not going to show this, are they? And then they did. Full on gay sex. Yeah. From afar, so you don't see anything like, you don't see anything going in anywhere. Thank the Lord. Because that would end up being porn. But overall, I found the documentary really interesting, and their relationship develops to the point that Tanner he falls in love with Matthew, and they end up having sex, and it shows shots of them going out together, and it looks like they're in a relationship, and then something goes wrong, and then you realise that love is a dangerous thing. It's beautiful but also dangerous, especially if one person is in love and the other person isn't. But overall, it was a deeply interesting documentary. I highly recommend it. It was really good. So I'm glad my partner was sitting down watching it, because this would be something that I wouldn't have clicked on. So this has kind of made me want to, because I don't watch a large amount of documentaries, so I want to try and watch a bit more documentaries and stuff like that. Also, as a filmmaker, it sort of made me think of how easy it is to shoot a documentary nowadays. So I would definitely recommend you watching Getting Go on Amazon, and let me know what you think of it, anybody. I'd check it out if I were you. So that is my review. Funny. I had to record this bit again because I decided to burp at the end. So that was my review for the Getting Go project. 100% you guys recommend watching that, because it was a real interesting study. Yeah. Sexually graphic, but yeah, very interesting. So before I do my second review, which is of Ben Wheatley's Sightseers, let's have a little sponsor, shall we? Hello, and today's episode is sponsored by Washing Your Hands. Now, in this time with coronavirus, you gotta make sure that you wash your hands, mate. Make sure you scrub them and scrub them and scrub them. You wash your front and your back of your hands, including in the middle of your fingers. You make sure that they're all lovely and clean. And then you wash them again. So remember to wash your hands at all times. Thank you. And thank you for that sponsor. I think, I'm going to call him Steve. So thank you for that, Steve. And in all seriousness, guys, we need to make sure that we're washing our hands. Even though it's making our hands dry as hell. Make sure you wash your hands. Always. Because we need to make sure that we keep clean. So, I know I said I was going to talk about Ben Wheatley's Sightseers, but I've decided to throw that out, away. It's gone. If any of you guys fancy checking out my review on my Letterboxd of Ben Wheatley's Sightseers, then that would be great. My username for that is just Harry E. Allen, so check up that review. I also posted it on my social media sites, on Facebook and on my Twitter. So if you fancy checking out that review, then that would be great. And I 100% you go and check out that film because it was brilliant. I loved it. It's my favourite Ben Wheatley film that I've watched so far. So yeah. So go do that. I knew I was going to burp. I just knew it. I'm so sorry about that. I'm so sorry. So, I decided now that I'm just going to talk about what I've been up to creatively. So, at the moment, most people know me that I sort of took a break from filmmaking and being creative for a while after my degree. But now I'm back. And at the moment, I've been writing a script, my next short film, hopefully, fingers crossed. Actually, I'm not even going to say hopefully. This is going to be my next short film that I'm going to shoot, which I'm super excited about, super buzzing about, to be honest. Let me just get it up. So I'm in the early stages of writing the first draft. I was doing the beat sheet for the film, but as I do for a lot of things, which I used to do for essays, I started off as a beat sheet, and now it's pretty much turned into the first draft. So let me give you the rough logline that I've got. An agoraphobic joins a new dating app, but will he be able to overcome his condition to find love? So that's the logline for it, and I've been busy writing my beat sheet / first draft. I think I'm into my fourth scene of the film. I'm seeing it being like a 10-minute film. A 10-minute film. And just in one location. Because the last film I did was in a range of locations in Brighton. And that was deeply stressful. For many reasons. So I thought, since I'm dipping my toe back into filmmaking, I thought I would start with something just a little bit easier. So something that's just set in a flat, which is going to be my partner's flat. They always say, write for something that you have for... What was it? What do they say? They say write, if you have a location that you can get access to, write a film for that location. That's what I meant. I got there. So this one is going to be just set in a flat with this guy dealing with his condition and trying to opening himself up to new love. And the main character is called Noah. He's a shy dude. He hasn't been in the dating game for a long time. And he's unwilling to do that at first. But we shall see what happens. At the moment, I'm looking at my first draft now, and it's the first draft, as many filmmakers know, is just getting all the garbage out of your head. So it's probably not going to be as many scenes as I've got here now, but I'm just putting the building blocks up and seeing what's there first, and then I can either knock some of them down or carry on building upon them. So yeah, I've also got an actor in mind for it, which I've contacted him already. His name's Peter. I've worked with him before in my last film. We super got on then, so when I was writing it, I automatically pictured him. So, depending on this coronavirus, I'm hoping to shoot it in the next, pretty much as soon as possible, really. As soon as the world has sort of returned to the normalness that it is. Yeah, so that's what I'm up to. So I'm busy finishing that first draft. I've also started doing like mood boards and stuff, and talking to other filmmaking friends that I want to get involved. Yeah, so that's the exciting things, the creative bit that I'm up to. I've got loads of other stuff in my head as well, but this is the one that I'm going with next. If anybody's got an idea for a title for the film, because I still have no clue, so if anybody feels like dropping me a message on the podcast fan page, the Redhead Boy podcast Facebook page, or my own personal Facebook page, Harry E. Allen, and let me know, see what sort of title you feel like the film could do with. So yeah, so wish me luck on that, and keep your eyes peeled, because hopefully there will be a new short film coming out from me. Thank God. It's been a while, but hopefully I'll get it done. Stop saying hopefully, Harry. For God's sake, you're going to get it done. So yeah, that's what I'm up to. So I think I'm going to wrap it up with this episode 3 of the Redhead Boy podcast with me, Harry Allen. Thank you guys for joining me. Yes, I shall be not seeing you next week. Hopefully you'll be hearing me next week with episode 4. Yes, so looking forward to recording that. I just want to say a huge thank you to the NHS and all their hard work that they're doing with coronavirus, and giving them one of these. Remember that there's going to be, I believe, every Thursday at 8 o'clock, people can go out and do an applause to say thank you to the doctors, nurses, the healthcare workers that are working so hard in the NHS to battle this coronavirus. They're on the front line, risking their lives to help us defeat this damn coronavirus. So I just want to end with one of my favourite film of all time, a little clip from The Shawshank Redemption. And until next week, You guys take care.
Dear Red, if you're reading this, you've gotten out. And if you've come this far, maybe you're willing to come a little further. You remember the name of the town, don't you?
Cebateneo.
I could use a good man to help me get my project on wheels. I'll keep an eye out for you, and the chessboard ready. Remember, Red, hope is a good thing, maybe the best of things, and no good thing ever dies. I will be hoping that this letter finds you, and finds you well. Your friend.